Now, the utterances by one Moses Kuria, yeah, the legislator for Gatundu South, are very unfortunate. However, they're not surprising. Let me explain. In Kenyan politics, every major political player has what are called foot soldiers. Yes? What is the work of a foot soldier? The work of a foot soldier is to make certain utterances with certain objectives. Yes? Utterances which you cannot make yourself. And the way it works in Kenyan politics is that your foot soldier says something, you keep quiet for a while, then you come out with a statement which looks like a slap on the wrist, but actually the message has already gone out. That's how Kenyan politics works. Now, before you even go further, I would like to propose that this funny organization headed by a man called Ole Kaparo, Francis Ole Kaparo, should be disbanded immediately. Now, Ole Kaparo is a former speaker of the National Assembly, heads an organization called National Cohesion and Integration Commission. Very nice names. And it looks like it has a very, very good objectives. In fact, if a foreigner comes into the country and is told, oh, is introduced, this is Mr. Kaparo, he's head of the National Cohesion and Integration, he will be very pleased. He'll say, well done, that's very good. Yeah, you guys actually trying to bring the tribes together? Oh, excellent, very good. But what is the reality on the ground? This, even before I say, let me just give you an example. Yeah? Moses Kuria makes us some statements which are just, I can't even describe them. Yeah? Definitely hate speech, definitely tribal, definitely incitement. Everything you mention in the book, it's a tick, check. Yeah? Nothing happens to him. And you can be sure absolutely nothing will happen to him. Okay? Now, in Kisii, a blogger repeats what Raila has already said. Yes? He says that people actually killed and dumped, put into body bags and gunny bags and dumped into Lake Victoria. And they're arrested. And as we speak, they're still in police custody. Yeah? Now, of course, nobody is bothering to, the law says you cannot stay in custody indefinitely without being charged. She hasn't been charged yet. National cohesion and integration indeed. Yeah? Now, if this organization was sincere, what would have happened is that these guys would have started off finding out the crux of the problem. Instead of dealing with the symptom, they would have started going out for the root cause of this problem in Kenya. But what do they do instead? Selective, prosecution, selective arrests. Yeah? Gosh. Indeed, I can tell you today that this National Cohesion and Integration Commission was at the center of the big plan which Jubilee had to defraud the people of Kenya. Okay? How? You remember what was happening before the elections? These guys had already started issuing their threats to social media administrators, WhatsApp administrators, social media groups and pages and so on. Generally to Kenyans on social media. They started issuing their threats before the elections. Now, with the benefit of hindsight, we now know why. Okay? The Jubilee government had planned to massively rig the election. And they knew that when they massively rig the election and go against the will of over 8 million Kenyans, yeah? In fact, much higher than that, because those are registered voters. There are a lot of other people who are not registered, yeah? Let's just say over half the population. Go against the will of over half the population of the Kenyan people. Indeed, over 70% of the Kenyan population. Yeah? But let's be a bit generous. Over at least 70% of the Kenyan population. They are planning to go against the will of 70% of the Kenyan population. Definitely they knew there was going to be a backlash. Definitely they knew guys were going to be angry. Definitely they knew people would go to social media and write things, angry comments. Yeah? So they send out this NCIC. Yeah, it is put in the plan. It's put in the master plan. Yeah, because the master plan included sending security forces to Nyanza and certain what they called hotspots, but actually opposition areas. And we now know what the objective was. Yeah, the objective was to shoot children, shoot people, use live bullets. Yes, to deal with people. who are demonstrating, and indeed to even clobber and beat up people in their own houses, to break into people's houses and then beat them up. Yeah? Because baby Samantha was not a demonstrator. Was she? The other kid who was killed in Madara, she was not a demonstrator, was she? Yeah? So you get my drift. So NCIC were part of the master plan. And their part was very crucial because their part was to limit the backlash. Yeah? To make sure that people are so scared on social media that they would not say anything. That these things would happen and people would just keep their mouths shut. Oh, of course the plan failed. But what, you get my drift. This is why the NCIC should be disbanded immediately. Yeah? Indeed, it should be reported to the ICC and international human rights groups, because the objective of this group is to scare Kenyans and infringe on the human rights of Kenyans, infringe on the right of freedom of speech of Kenyans. This is exactly what this organization is there for. There's nothing like national cohesion and integration. Rubbish. There's nothing this organization is doing towards that. You tell me, what have they achieved since they were instated? What have they achieved? Is Kenya more integrated? Is there more cohesion in Kenya? What steps have they taken? Of course, if you go to them, they'll tell you, oh, hate speech has reduced in social media. Oh, go tell that to the birds. It has reduced by you infringing on the rights of Kenyans, by you hitting out at freedom of speech. You know, something which is a basic human right. I have the right to say what I feel. Yeah, but NCIC say I do not have the right to say what I feel. Yeah, but some people can say whatever they want to say and nothing will happen to them because they belong to a certain community. This is wrong. Bwana Kaparo, if you respect your own legacy, do something about this. Don't allow your name to be used in such an organization that reminds us of some of the organization that Herr Hitler, Adolf Hitler had, yeah, to oppress the people for certain objectives. Yeah? Well, Kaparo, I think you've read history. Your organization can be linked to certain organizations Hitler had and certain propaganda arms which Herr Hitler had, the most evil man who ever lived. Okay? So you'd better get your act together. Just resign from that organization. Tell these guys to look for another person to use. But Ole Kaparo do not agree to be used. History is going to treat you very cruelly. Because after your distinguished career as a speaker in this country, as a person who Kenyans respect, you're just going to spoil it all with this funny organization that has no direction and is just there to infringe on the basic rights of Kenyans. Okay? But it's okay. They can continue arresting people on social media, arresting people for hate speech. Some of those NIS agents even come to this channel. They start issuing threats here. Oh, Chris, you're right. It's hate speech. You're doing this, you're doing that. It's okay. It's okay. Just continue. And just continue to keep very silent when people like Moses Kuria go out and do what they do. Okay? It is okay. Anyway, now the latest, which people should take very seriously, and you should understand that, as I told you, in Kenyan politics we have foot soldiers, is what appears to be a choreographed move. Not what appears, it's obviously choreographed. Because at the time when Moses Kuria is making these funny utterances, what is happening in Githurai? People are being threatened. Non-Jubilee supporters are being threatened. Non-Jubilee supporters are being stopped. Yeah? And they're asked one question: are you a NASA supporter? Now I can see I've gone way over my time. Just catch part 2 of this where we wrap up this and I tell you something that is just that will floor you. Yeah, you know the drill. Click on that link on the top left hand corner and you should be there in no time. This is Chris Kumekucha. See you there in a bit.